Mark.
Good morning, Sully.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Woo. Just, readjusting my personal thermometer to this weather.
We're a little bit late with your segment, but Minnick was on a roll. We had to let him go there.
I never plan on going on at 9:30, Sully. I always plan on going a little bit later. I know Kevin's gonna get on a roll every once in a while.
Especially this time of year, man. He's all hyped up for championship weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He is. I'm going up there with him tomorrow, so it should be a good time.
You're the relief pitcher then, huh? Or actually, you're the starter tomorrow. You got the start.
Well, I don't know how we're going to classify it, but I'm
going to try to get 4 innings out of you. It's like a World Baseball Classic start. 4 innings, 65 pitches. Get you out of there.
It's a spot start. Spot start.
Spot start.
When the postseason comes, sometimes you have to have.
Got to have that fifth starter.
You have to have exactly. Remember Randy Johnson, wasn't it? Came in relief for the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series. That's a similar situation.
Let's talk a little bit of wrestling here before we get to basketball and kind of put a bow on this season. Give me your thoughts on the state championships last weekend. Exciting as always, and one of the largest crowds they've ever had. I guess 30,000 plus for the weekend.
Well, it also started 6 hours early on Friday, and there were many more kids this year because of the extra qualifiers. So that could lead to the extended population there watching wrestling. Did we have a good time? Yes. Outside of the lack of internet inside the building and the 30-minute organ solo that for some reason occurred right before the final round, and also the $5 bottles of water, $4. I do want to make a quick point here. I wasn't upset about it, but I can understand the people who would be. For me, it was wonderful. Gave me another excuse. But a cup of coffee was $3.50 at Boardwalk Hall, and a bottle of water was $4. So you were better off with coffee than water, as I always say. Other than that, the wrestling's fantastic. It always is. South Jersey got 3 champs. Antonio Menino at 113 with a great victory in overtime against Bergen Catholic's super freshman Robert Howard. And then Quinn Kinner of Kingsway continued his domination at 132 with a 5-0 win. And Billy Janser got out with 2 seconds to spare to win in an ultimate tiebreaker at 170 pounds, I believe. So 3 champs, all juniors, all back next year. That next year should be a very good year for South Jersey wrestling.
That's got to be amazing, man. When you talk about Janser to win a state championship with an escape with 2 seconds to go and the ultimate tiebreaker. I mean, you can't write it any better than that.
No, you can't. I'd say he and Menino both had superb finals. Menino's, it looked like it was going to be a serious issue there in that first sudden victory. He fought off a takedown for about 45 seconds in every which way, acrobatically, adjusting his body, maneuvering. It was quite a bout, and to see those 2 kids come through in crunch time, and like I said, Kinner, he really left no bones about it with his victory, which just kind of summed up his whole year. But it was thrilling.
Anybody really stand out? I mean, we didn't have that real big storyline from last year of Soriano going for his 4th state title and an undefeated high school record. What really stood out to you this year?
Well, I think if you look at 52 and 60, the last 2 weights of the event, at 52, you had Glasgow from Boundbrook against Griffith from Bergen Catholic. And Glasgow came in a defending state champ, the kid from Bergen Catholic, a two-time defending state champ who's also a junior. So they had 3 championships between them on the mat, and Glasgow ended up winning. So that was a big deal. And then the next one was Mackay Lewis, the teammate of Glasgow from Boundbrook. He won last year, and Kyle Corcoran from Paramus also won last year. So that was another defending state champ bout, and Lewis won that one. So Boundbrook got both those championships, but in order to, I guess if you wanted to equate it to NBA terms, it would be like the Cavs and the Warriors back-to-back bouts.
Talk with Mark Trible of the Courier-Post. Mark, what was your overall feeling about this wrestling season? How do you kind of put a bow on it at this point? We're a week past the championships. What was really the overriding theme of this year?
Well, to steal a phrase from Naughty by Nature, are you down with ODD? Yeah, you know me. It was odd. It was odd, Sully. From day one, it was odd. From the off season, it was odd. There was a lot of weird stuff happened. There were weird rulings. There were disqualifications from playoffs. There were so many different things that happened that it seemed like we were living in bizarro world. Each day, when you get a phone call from somebody, it was something else that didn't make any sense at all. And I think that all started in motion with the changes to the certainly the state qualifiers. It also happened when you want to take a look at expanding the team playoffs. There were major adjustments made. They changed the districts, they changed the regions, and after that, everything it kind of went every which way. So that's what I remember most about it. Is it seemed like it was a full moon every day in South Jersey wrestling this year. We had some great kids. We had some great teams. Paulsboro went undefeated. That was a big deal. And but that's what'll stand out to me, man. It got to the point where you almost just figure, well, what's it going to be today?
And then you had that really weird alleged biting incident at the States. I forget the young man's name, but his father actually sent me a direct message on Twitter, wanted to kind of clear the air and make it known that no way did his son bite the other kid. He didn't want his son's reputation to be tarnished in that way. So that was kind of a strange thing to happen.
Well, let me tell you this. That kid is Lorenzo Hernandez. He was our defensive player of the year in football. He's a heavyweight. He almost didn't even come out for a wrestling team. And through covering him in football and getting to know him even from last year through football and wrestling, I can tell you he's one of the nicest kids. When they said that he had bitten somebody, I immediately thought that's some of these kids. Look, man, these are great kids, but when it comes down to it, some of these kids, okay, if he's desperate, he might bite a guy. But Lorenzo Hernandez is not that kid. And so I thought, well, this doesn't really make sense. Well, the reason it didn't make sense is because by all accords from the video I saw, it didn't happen.
Right.
And the state and its official in charge of that situation completely screwed up and disqualified the kid for the end of his career. Now, like I said, Lorenzo, I guess the bright side was he's been wrestling 2 years. He's a football guy, and it's not like he's one of these, lifelong wrestlers who this is all he has. He'll go on and play Villanova next year defensively. But still, it's a shame. And it's a shame that it makes the kid look bad when he didn't do what they said he did. And, this is just par for the course. This is just par for the course for the state and situations of the like. The Officials Association, it's not great. But, yeah, that was very odd. The kid got disqualified, and that was the end of his career. And, one more thing about this. That happened that was the last bout of Friday night. The assistants for Cherry Hill West told me the kid who said it told them after the fact, he didn't really bite me. I'm sorry, I apologize. I just yelled it out. Well, why the next morning, why wouldn't you call the kid in and say, look, did he bite you or not? Because if he didn't, we need to know that so the kid can at least wrestle in the wrestlebacks. He had a chance of placing, certainly. They didn't do that. So, I don't know, man. It's like that's another thing. It's one thing after another. It comes down to the last couple of days. And even then, we got water that's more expensive than coffee and invisible teeth marks. Invisible teeth marks, Sully.
You never know what you're going to get in high school wrestling there, Mark.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know what's going to happen when the circus is in town.
You got some hoops tomorrow, man. Is Minnick going to buy you some breakfast or what?
That's a good idea. I'm going to pitch that. I'm going to pitch that idea to him. I'm going to come double fist in the coffee like McGarry with the Diet Coke. I'm going to be ready to go. This is a great time of year in basketball, and as much as I love covering wrestling, I played high school basketball. I'm a hoops junkie. This is the best time of the year for me, sport-wise.
Now, what number were you off the bench? 9th, 10th?
Well, JV. Well, no, let's see. The junior year on the varsity team, I was probably right towards the end. But senior year, I was one of the first guys off. Yeah, I was a shooting specialist. I was a perimeter man.
Did you get the start on senior night?
Oh, you know it, dude. And I'm going to tell you this. I guarded a kid who was about 4 inches taller than me. I locked him down. He was all district. And the team came in unbeaten in district play, and they left with a 25-point loss. And that was actually one of the highest points of my high school career. But I'm excited to see Shawnee. If they can continue to get it done, I've seen them twice this week pull out some pretty close games, one in triple overtime against Toms River North, a place where I'm destined to be, I think, weekly for the rest of my life. And, I want to see them. I want to see if Camden can finally get it done. I took the phone calls last year in the office, people calling to see if they'd won when they were up big in the fourth quarter, and I had to tell those people, no, they've lost, and listen to the sigh of disgust on the other end.
Wow.
So I'm excited for both of them. I know St. Augustine plays today. Good luck to them as well. And Woodbury's been a great story, too, in Group 1. And you have to kind of feel for the Thundering Herd and hope they can get it done as well.
Good stuff. As always, Mark, we're up against break. Got to let you go, but enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy.
Thank you, Sully. You kicked it off on the right note.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
That was Mark Trible of the Courier-Post.